Laura, who are you?
I am Laura Sams.
I'm Robert Sams.
We're a sister and a brother, and we work together to make children's programming and television and music and books and all kinds of things that help people learn while they don't realize they're learning.
The Sanibel Sea School is based on Sanibel Island in Florida, and our experience with them is basically them running summer camps for kids, and they're day camps. So kids come out for a day, and for a week, up to a week, and there's a different theme each week. So it could be Manatee Week or Shark Week, but kids from all over. Could be kids who are landlocked kids, inner city kids. Could be kids who live out on the islands, but they're open to everybody. And it's basically a place where kids can come explore and be in the ocean and experience the ocean and get that connection with something bigger than themselves.
For our life. Well, we've been making ocean-based films for the past 8 to 10 years, and I had the great fortune of visiting Sanibel Sea School for a week during Shark Camp. So I got to go to Shark Camp and hang out with the kids, and we filmed them building a whale shark, life-sized whale shark out of sand on the beach. And
So they built the body out of sand, and then the skin, they picked up all the sargassum seaweed that washed up on the beach, and they used that as the skin of the shark, and then they balled up white sand to give the whale shark spots. They actually gave it its coloration as well. Yeah.
so I'd say, what's our connection to the ocean in general? Well, Robert has always loved the ocean since he was a little tiny kid. One of those kids that always wanted to be in the water.
Yeah.
I love the ocean, but he was one of those kids who had ocean things all over his room and his bedspread.
Yeah. I used to fish outside when I was a toddler in a bucket of water, and my mom cut out a plastic fish out of a Cool Whip container, and I would just sit and fish in the bucket. And then the mailman would walk by and say, "Catching anything?" And I'd, "Yep, got fish." So that was kind of where it started, and then ever since I've been hooked. So when we got a chance, as filmmakers, as professionals, later on in life, we got a chance to make a film for the Save Our Seas Foundation, and we jumped in head first, got our first underwater camera, and never looked back. So being underwater, if you've never been scuba diving, it's amazing because it's, I think, the closest to feeling like an astronaut you can possibly feel like. When you do it right underwater, you're completely weightless. You're not floating up or floating down. You're perfectly weightless, and so it's a totally unique feeling. It's a lot of people say it's quiet underwater. It is in a way, but it's not totally quiet. You hear all the sounds that the animals make underwater. Lots of clicking and popping. There's the sound of your own scuba breath. It's just a totally different feeling underwater. I guess it feels like being in outer space. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. I'd say filming underwater is as exciting as swimming and diving underwater or being near the ocean, because the ocean's like the great unknown. You don't know what's going to be there day by day, and it's exciting because you really don't know what you're going to find. Even though you may have been to the same spot before, it changes every single time. So being an underwater cameraman is being able to capture those moments and look for the unique things that are happening day by day.
Actually, sometimes I get bored when I'm just scuba diving. When I have a camera in my hand, it's a lot more fun because it's a challenge. Every time you go down, you're focused on something different, and it's just a personal challenge to get that shot. It's always going to be different every single day, even if it's the same subject that you're filming day after day. The behaviors are different, or the conditions are different. So it's just a really fun challenge to scuba diving.
Our purpose when making films is to give the people who watch the film the sense of discovery, so that they get that wow, that aha moment. And I think that's what we're looking for, is to find that and what's exciting about something. So instead of just sharing things or telling you things, that you get to actually discover things along with us when you're watching a film.
Yeah. Well, you think about how few people actually ever snorkel or scuba dive. I mean, most people never do it. They might swim, but they never actually go down and really look at what's down there. So it's fun to just share that with people and hopefully encourage people to try it themselves. It's interesting. most people, I don't know, there's a disconnect with the ocean because of they never go in it and they never look at stuff. So if we can make films that inspire people to go in and want to take a look for themselves, and they can have that connection, it's easier to help them want to take care of it in the future. We need to inspire them to fall in love with it first, and then hopefully they'll down the road be inspired to take care of it.
Yeah, we have a game we'll play with kids where we have an inflatable globe and we toss it to kids and have them catch it, and we count how many fingers are on water and how many are on land. And even though you know the statistics that most of the earth is covered by water, when you start counting fingers over and over and over and make a big tally, you visually see that most of the fingers are landing on water.
Yeah.
And we spend most of our time on land, and it's a hard thing to think about, I think, when you're a kid, to think about most of our earth being blue.
Right.
And so it's huge to be able to understand that and to want to see what's in the blue ocean, to understand that it affects our climate, that most of the oxygen we breathe is coming from the ocean when we stand most of the time on land. So, yeah. Gosh, the ocean, you don't have to sell the ocean to anyone, any kid.
Oh yeah, kids they're born excited about the ocean, so it's an easy sell for kids. Totally.
Yeah. Well, we met Bruce and Evelyn at the Blue Ocean Film Festival several years ago, and at the time we were just starting to make a movie about sharks. It's called The Shark Riddle, and we're trying to solve a mysterious riddle about sharks where you try to figure out what's the biggest shark in the ocean and what do its teeth look like. And we were looking for a place where kids were actively involved in learning about sharks and doing something along the ocean.
Yeah.
And then Rob started talking to Bruce.
Yeah, and Bruce told me basically that he told me about the camps and how they work throughout the summer, and he said pretty soon we're going to have Shark Week, and the kids are going to come in and learn about sharks all week. And I asked him what kinds of things that they might be doing, and he said that they are planning on building a life-size sand sculpture of a whale shark that was going to be 40 feet long. And I told him that I wanted to come film it. So 2 weeks later, we were down there filming the shark camp with all the kids, and we filmed this amazing whale shark that they built. It was incredible.
Yeah, so I actually went down and spent a good week at Sanibel Sea School. I loved Sanibel Sea School. It was great. I loved how the days were structured so that it allowed kids to be super actively involved and allowed them to explore what they love to do, and it gave them a chance to try new things. It's just like camp, where you kind of have your own little camp family, so you form your camaraderie of people all discovering things together, and so it just was this happy place. And they were super, the counselors were super aware of what would work best for the kids that were at the camp, I felt, because I felt like they were adapting for who was there and what they were excited about, and then pulling the best that they possibly could for those kids. It was great. They made shark murals, we played trivia games, we sang songs together, and then of course we always went out. Oh, there was a shark dissection. That was awesome. There was a shark that was accidentally caught in a fisherman's net, and so Bruce led a dissection of the sharks. They could feel the skin. You could actually see how big the liver is. I mean, it was awesome. And then sometimes you get on the bus and go out to the beach, and there the kids throughout the week, they'd start showing you more and more things that they'd found, and they were super excited about it, and they knew more and more about the things that they were finding. And so it's great. I felt like Sanibel was an incredible blend of play and learning and family camaraderie all together in a really happy space, so that whatever it is that you're learning about, it happened to be at Sharks that week, whatever it is, it's just going to be awesome. It was fun. What else happened at Sanibel Sea School?
The kid farted on
He
camera.
did. We were actually recording a song to use in the background of the thing.
Tonga,
Tonga. Mbale, umbeo, mbale, umbeo,
But
Tonga.
Kid farted right before the take,
It
so
was super quiet.
got it on camera.
It was really funny. We all laughed really, really hard.
Yeah.
All of us sitting in a room together.
It wasn't too big. It was just enough. Like, everyone was quiet, sitting in a circle. Right, they're about to record this song, so they're all waiting for Evelyn's cue. And right when she was giving them the cue, this kid went, and then everyone started to sing, and then everything broke down at that point. Yeah.
Oh, that was hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it's a place where people can feel safe to fart.
Our big goal is to help kids develop empathy toward the ocean, so they have feelings about it and they're excited about it. Because if you don't love something, you can't save it. And so when we write our stories and we make our movies, we're also very carefully crafting stories that are happy and they're upbeat and they give people this super positive way into a new subject. And there's been research that shows if you hit kids too heavy, too hard, too soon, it actually turns them away from wanting to be part of nature or help the environment. And so I'm a huge fan of promoting that sense of discovery and that sense of play that helps kids absolutely develop what they love. And the Sanibel Sea School does that. So our mission was really in line with what Sanibel was doing in a wonderful way.
Yeah. Well, it's just about actually being outside and being somewhere inspiring. We live in Portland, Oregon, and I once asked a group of 75 kids in Portland how many of them had been to the ocean. We only live maybe a 2-hour drive from the ocean. Not a single kid raised their hand, and they live there. And that's true of all over the United States. How few people visit the ocean, and you live right there. You just within driving distance to go, and they just never go. So Sanibel Sea School is one of those places that gives kids a chance to actually really explore and enjoy it in a safe, fun atmosphere. Yeah.
And even if you don't remember what the facts were that you learned throughout the week at Sanibel Sea School, I know those kids are going to remember that they had a great time. I mean, those hands-on experiences are just critical when kids are growing up to letting them develop what it is they're truly passionate about. And Sanibel Sea School does that in a super great way. Yeah. I once Robert and I visited a lot of elementary schools and talked to kids about what we do and about the ocean. And one time we visited a classroom who'd been studying the ocean, and we asked them, what's your favorite thing about the ocean? And a kid's hand shot up in the air, and he was ready with his answer. And he said, well, dolphins are being slaughtered, so we have to save all the dolphins. I said, yes, but what do you love about the ocean? And you could see his face was all serious, and then he's like, oh, and then he relaxed. He goes, oh, okay. Octopus are so awesome, they don't have any bones, and they're so squishy they can fit in like all the way into a tiny soda bottle. And then he got super excited. I was like, okay, there it is. And then they got excited about it. So I feel like the key is fostering.
Don't focus on the negative first.
Yeah, foster that super excitement, and in a way that's nurturing and empowering, especially if some kids have never been to the ocean before, never seen the beach. It might be a little bit scary, but who can resist? Who can resist the lure of the great blue and the waves and playing and things and putting on snorkel gear?
Yeah, that's pretty fun.
Finding crabs in the sand. The world is absolutely full of great surprises. And I think if you've never been to the ocean, it's time to go stand there and let the water kind of lap over your ankles and then just look and see what you find. It's like a giant game of I Spy. I mean, every time you go out there, totally new things to find in different places. The tide comes in, the tide goes out, it changes a lot. So it's...
Yeah. It's funny. My wife's family is down in Los Angeles, and I went down there for the holidays, and I wanted to go swimming out in the water, and they said there's nothing out there, it's just sand. And I said, well, but things live in the sand. I mean, there's things out there. And they said, no, there's just sand out there. As far as you swim, you're just going to see sand. And I said, well, that's all right. So I put on a mask and I went swimming out there, and a sea lion showed up and said hi. And then I found an octopus, and I found these cool orange fish called Garibaldi, all right out there. But my wife's family down there had never gone in and explored it. So it's not just kids, it's adults also that don't realize what's right there. And if they would just go in and take a look, it's amazing. It'll blow your mind. So just do it. I would be a siphonophore. Siphonophores are congregations of a whole bunch of different animals, the same species, but they all link together into one thing, and nobody seems to know how they do it. It's all these little creatures that work together in unison to be like one bigger animal. So I would be a siphonophore because I think it's better if we work together. It kind of looks like a weird maybe like a weird jellyfish. Yeah. Siphonophores look like weird jellyfish.
Yeah. I don't know if I have a great answer for that. I would love to be a killer whale for a day because they're at the top of the food chain. I mean, great white sharks are afraid of them. So the idea that you could be a killer whale and just swim past a great white shark and feel great about it, you know, and let your dorsal fins soar
That is true.
many feet out of the air, it would be an awesome experience. Other thing would be awesome to be for at least a brief moment is a little, are they called copepods? Those
Okay.
little like plankton that I read once are some of the fastest creatures on Earth. When they fling their tails, they can zoom in the water so fast and so far compared to their body length. I think it'd be great to feel fast, really fast. What else?
That's cool. I think it'd be cool to be octopus, squid, or a cuttlefish because they can change color.
Oh,
And I think it would be amazing to just change color.
that would be awesome.
Yeah. Like plaid, striped.
Okay, what about a crab? That you could like lose your exoskeleton every once in a while and just step out of it. That would be pretty amazing.
Let's see. You could be. Was it the southern right whale? One of the big whales was aged. They found one that was over 200 years old. So if you want to live long life, be a whale or a turtle. Nobody knows how long sea turtles live. So if you're going for the long life portion of this question, what animal would you be? Sea turtle or a whale?